What's up, YouTube and Deadlock community? Allow me the opportunity to introduce myself to you. My name is Tempe, and I'm a Holliday main, and I have something to show you. Oh boy, do I have a treat. I have Tempe's Nuclear Barrel Holliday build. You're asking yourself, what the hell is this guy going on about? Who is he? What are you doing speaking to me about this character? Well, I'm a person that only plays Holliday exclusively, okay? Don't look me up on TrackLock, you're gonna see fake statistics, okay? Anyway, I'm in love with this character. She's basically the reason I play every time. You should look at the way I queue. It's white, and then purple on Holliday. I deeply prioritize her. I don't play anyone else. It's my favorite character. If they took her out the game, I'd probably still play the game because this game's awesome, but I'd probably play it significantly less. But anyways, with all that out of the way, let me talk to you about this build that I have here, and I think it's important for me to share this, hence why I'm making this video, because I don't feel like there's enough resources out there right now covering this character, and I think that right now the biggest issue Holliday's facing, especially after the 5 trillion nerfs she's received, is getting through this stat spirit resist. I have my handy assistant here, the beautiful Holliday, and she has 3 items in her inventory. These are all T2s. This is 4,800 souls of investment. After investing 4,800 souls, I have 32% spirit resist. What on earth is Valve thinking? So you mean to tell me that in lane phase, before I exit lane, and not even that, just somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes, you're telling me I can get 32% spirit resist and entirely negate a character like Holliday's entire kit? Cool, appreciate it. So given that this is a major issue and you can get there building what I think are all pretty much offensive items for this cheap, I think that this is something we need to attack and counter ourselves with intelligence. And I did that in this build by making it built around items that allow us to shred that spirit resistance. So I'm going to quickly summarize this so you don't have to watch the entire video. And if you'd like to just hear the summary here and then go try it out for yourself, you can go and do that. So a lot of the items you can see here, it's comprised mostly of spirit damage, but it also has weapon items, and the weapon items basically are only here to debuff the enemy. They're not here for big major damage. They're not here to amplify your gun. This build is a barrel and lasso focused build, and we're here to do spirit damage because every ability in her kit scales with spirit damage and does spirit damage. So with the exception of Crackshot, right? But it scales. So anyway, I wanted to play around those abilities. I love them. They're so fun to use. And I want to go back to the days where we could just throw 15 barrels on somebody's head in the span of 2 seconds and absolutely just nuke their health bars. So let me talk about the most important items here when it comes to the whole debuff situation. So Spirit Rend, this is something we build pretty early and we debuff the enemy. And doing this allows us to get rid of their resistance and allows us to do the full extent of the damage we intended to do when we threw the barrel. Okay, so that is here in the weapon category. Later on, we pick up Escalating Exposure, which is something that we proc with Spirit Burn, and our main source of damage for Spirit is going to be Boundless Spirit and Tank Buster. Everything else is sort of like a utility item, pretty much like Rapid Recharge, Cooldown, Duration, Expansion. This stuff is sort of, these are extra bonuses that you get, and it's really up to your own discretion to choose appropriately. But the cornerstones of this build are the debuffs and the big damage from Boundless and Spirit Burn. Okay, so that's pretty much the summary of this build. And if you don't want to watch anymore, you can click off the video. If you want to listen to me go in depth on this build and these items, then I'm about to do that. So yeah, that's that. T1s, let's start quickly and touch base with the T1 items. I have items that are pretty familiar to you, and I pretty much only buy somewhere between 2 to 4 T1s in lane. I don't buy all of these. I don't wait till these are all purchased and then go to T2. I don't go linearly. I go based on what I need. And typically in lane, I like to buy high velocity rounds and extra charge. The reason for this is because this allows me to land crack shots more consistently. This gives me more DPS because of the fire rate. And it gives me a minimal weapon investment to start scaling. And extra charge gives me more DPS because it gives me more jump pads and barrels. So that's self-explanatory. This is a necessity on this character. After that, I might pick up extra spirit, extra burst, but I'm going to try to get monster rounds built into Cultist as fast as possible. Before I talk about T2s, I want to quickly touch on Cultist Sacrifice. This item has recently been changed. Everybody's calling it a nerf. I don't think it's a nerf. I think it's an adjustment. Okay, it's pretty cringe to say, but I think it's an adjustment. And the stats you get early are so vital to the success of this character, but also it's vital to your ability to acquire items very early on that are going to increase your power and let you scale and snowball out of control. So Cultist still gives us 30% weapon damage versus NPCs. This allows us to kill towers, minions, and enemy jungle monsters, or your own jungle monsters, very, very quickly. And in doing so, you gain an advantage. You gain a soul advantage. You gain an objective advantage. This is very good. You should be using this to farm out your core build and acquire this pretty soon. Like once the T3 monsters spawn, you want this so you can get the 150% bonus for consuming a T3 monster, okay? This is going to scale with boons, and the boon scaling is really nice because it now becomes powerful than it ever was before as time progresses, because the boon scaling exceeds where this item was before, okay? Before the nerf, quote unquote. So yeah, this item can this can stay in your inventory for a lot longer because of this, and you don't have to worry about getting rid of it midway through the game or even in the late game, really. This can just sit in your inventory, giving you some weapon investment. It's really, really nice. Okay, so that's usually what I do. Early on, I buy Enchanter's Emblem. This item is broken. 18% spirit resistance is disgusting on a T2 vitality item. And on top of that, it's passive. The condition is being above 65%, giving you 15% spirit power and giving you 7% vital cooldown reduction. This is something that helps out immensely with reducing your lasso cooldown and even the barrels recharging in the background, right? So this is amazing. I buy this early on, but I like to have like extra stamina, at least some little bit of vitality investment so that I can have at least a base amount of health. But this combos really well with Cultist because when you consume something, you have more bonus health, so you're more likely to be above 65% health threshold, meaning that you'll get the passive active, right? So this is a must buy. Spirit Shredder bullets, compressed cooldown duration extender. You only buy these if you're kind of struggling and you can't really get to your core. Or if you want to, if you're really playing around your lasso. It sort of depends. I don't buy these often. I usually buy Enchanters every game and don't really buy these. I buy Spirit Shredder when they stack resistance really early on. And like I showed you before, you can pay 4,800 souls and have 32% spirit resist. If somebody's doing this, or multiple characters have double-digit spirit resist, I'm buying SSB, and I'm not wasting my time. Moving on to the rest of the T3 items, the core items in this build are these three: Rapid Recharge, Tank Buster, Superior Cooldown. These are bought immediately. Once I have Cultist, once I have Enchanter's Emblem, I'm buying Rapid Recharge, Tank Buster, Cooldown, probably in the order of Tank Buster first, because you come back to lane and you're doing max health bonus damage. It's disgusting early on. I purchased this, then I purchased Rapid Recharge, because this allows Holliday to become Holliday. You can't play her without this. And then I might buy Cooldown. But Cooldown and Spirit Rend is really a toss-up depending on what you need. Again, if they have a shit ton of resistance, I'm going to be doing no damage, and Spirit Rend will allow me to do damage again. It gives me bonus health, which is a great bonus to this item. And the passive is so insane, and if I'm stacking headshots on somebody, I can reduce pretty much all of their resistance that they've built early on, if not most of it, and your barrels will start hitting again. Okay, so the way this works, if you weren't aware, is if I shoot her in the body, I get the base 7%. 2.5 seconds later, I can headshot her, and if I take control of her, you can see she's down to 19% resistance. So 7, 7, 14%, so the number's not showing up correctly. I don't know if it's a bug, but she went from 32% to 19. It's showing up as 13% reduction, but I don't know why they're cutting off the 1%, but that's neither here nor there. She's getting her spirit resist reduced immensely, and she's no longer a tank. She's no longer tanky. And if I landed another headshot, it would have gone down even more, another 7%. So you get the idea. This is so good, and it allows you to be a spirit Holliday player again without having to worry about being countered by items. Bad enough they nerf our character. Let's not let them make us irrelevant. And we do that by purchasing Spirit Resist Shred. Okay, so let's put ourselves in a hypothetical scenario. Let's say this is my inventory. In a typical game, my inventory might look like this. Okay? This is usually what most games look like, and I'm at 19,200 soul investment. I'm gaining a lot of souls through Cultist, and I'm gonna have more souls than is showing up here because of Cultist, okay, because my farming. And at this point in the game, I'm not buying these T3s or these T1s, T2s really, unless I'm really struggling. In most cases, I'll be doing well enough, and because Cultist helped me get there, I will be buying Boundless Spirit. This item is insane. It's the core of any spirit damage build. If you don't build this and you're a spirit character, you're trolling. The 13% spirit power, it got buffed from 10% to 13. This is insane. On top of the flat 35, you must buy this. This is your core damage. You buy this, you go back to lane, you debuff them with Spirit Rend, they no longer have resist, and you're hitting them with Tank Busters, Boundless Spirit Barrels. It's GG. You're dropping TSAR Bombas and Castle Bravos on their heads. If you know nukes, you know what I'm talking about, okay? So anyways, we'll play with this for a bit. We'll have fun. We're still going to be farming very efficiently because of Cultist being in our inventory the whole game. It's such a privilege to have this item. And next, if the game's going really well and I'm trying to snowball, I'm the main damage dealer. I'm Thanos. I'm out there just collecting Infinity Stones, which is the enemy team's souls and hearts. Then I'm buying Spirit Burn. This is going to take our damage to the next level. This is going to help. It's going to buff our lasso for no reason. We're going to get 10% ability range. That's cool. Thanks, Valve. And it's also going to give us 70% healing reduction. With the amount, that's another thing I have a major gripe with. The amount of healing in this game is insane right now. So because of the items really, and some of the kits, but the healing reduction coupled with the spirit resist reduction in this build is amazing because now people aren't countering us with items anymore. And we're gonna burn them to death. Burn, baby, burn. At this point in the game, you will be able to proc Spirit Burn, no problem. So I've got the proper boon scaling here. We're at 32K, and I'm gonna show you how easy it is to proc Spirit Burn. So with these items in my inventory, your concern might be that Spirit Burn won't get procced by one barrel, because that's ideally what we want to do. But if I'm fighting a tank like this with 32%, I'm going to have to pre-debuff them. So if I use my item, wait 2.5 seconds, and let's stack the Spirit Rend, we are proccing that and then some very, very easily. I mean, that barrel was way past the 500 damage threshold. I think you can proc it at this point with just a body shot and headshot, but correct me if I'm wrong. If not, in a lot of cases, you might be able to drop some stomp damage on them. Maybe land a lasso, right? So there's always that too. But proccing Spirit Burn shouldn't be that big of an issue at this point in the game. Now, it definitely won't be an issue if you can get Escalating Exposure. And this is something I try to rush as well. But again, if the game's going poorly, you don't have as many souls, just buy the T3s or maybe some of these utility items here. And yeah, that's really the story about the item order of purchasing. So let's say I'm going for straight damage. I'm having a great game. I buy Escalating Exposure. This is going to give me -8 spirit resist on spirit damage. So if I'm able to just land a body shot, maybe a headshot, this barrel is absolutely going to proc Spirit Burn. But the follow-up barrels are going to be hitting. Oh, sorry, I'm on no cooldown. Let me reset that. Let me be honest here. Okay, so if I debuff her and I hit her with a barrel, my follow-up barrels, look at this. So this ticks. Incoming. With 2 barrels, we're proccing Spirit Amp because of Spirit Burn, and we did 1,300 damage, and another barrel with that Spirit Amplification is doing another 500. I mean, a couple barrels, and we're doing a majority of their health, and this is against a target with 32% Spirit Resist. This dummy happens to be a max health, like max boon scaling and everything too, but yeah, we're doing a shit ton of damage, okay? If it's an extended fight, it's entirely possible you might actually proc Spirit Burn again, but you don't need to, because you'll probably land maybe a couple shots with your gun. Your team will follow up. It's enough damage, and it's really disgusting because they're going to be debuffed. Spirit Rend and Escalating Exposure stack. They're going to have healing reduction. When you accumulate all these debuffs, the enemies become vulnerable to you and your team, and that's really the big value of the build. Okay, so moving on, Mystic Reverb is here. I'm not going to go too in depth on the rest of these items here because this is really the core and your games might end before you even go any further. But let's say you do go further. If I get Mystic Reverb, and I imbue it on barrel, I'm now going to be a team fighting god. And this is also going to absolutely guarantee Spirit Burn gets procced by 1 barrel. Look, I'm going to show you. I don't even need to debuff her with Spirit Rend, and it's going to proc Spirit Burn because of Mystic Reverb. 417 barrel alone, and Mystic Reverb is going to proc Spirit Burn. And we're going to damage people in a massive radius and provide a ton of value to our team. So basically, the way that we play this build is we're jump padding, and we're just throwing barrels from a distance. And we're doing it until their whole team explodes and dies. And everyone's debuffed, your team is doing a bunch of damage, so are you, and you're not vulnerable because you're in the back line. You're simply just launching barrels, or you're flying across the battlefield through the air, dropping nukes on people's heads. It's really, really fun. So that's the idea of this build, okay? Moving on, I'll quickly touch on the utility items and this last T4. So the utility items here, look at the T2s as early items. These T2s are only if you really need them. I chose these items because I enjoy using them personally, and I think they provide a lot of value. They're really good situational flex slot items. So Reactive Barrier, if they have a lot of CC, buy this. Healbane, if they have an incredible amount of healing and you can't wait until you get Spirit Burn, then purchase Healbane. Slowing Hex, if they have a lot of escapes and they're teleporting out and you're finding yourself it's a difficult time to kill them and secure the kills, you buy this. Maybe you can combo with a teammate. It's incredibly powerful. Suppressor is if they have Haze, Wraith, Viper, those types of heroes, and you need to reduce their fire rate. You get bonus health and spirit power. This is an incredible T2 item as well. That's when you would buy this. Now, these 4 items, you can use your 12th flex slot, which in this case, I would sell high velocity rounds at this point in the game. Your 12th slot, your final flex slot, you can buy any of these for a final team fight and find a lot of success. These are nasty items. These are all so good for Holliday. And I think that these 3 in particular, Silence Wave, Ethereal Shift, Diviners, Kevlar, this can really make or break the game for you. These can save you in the late game, or they can just absolutely dominate the other team. Because if they're silenced by an item like Silence Wave, their whole team for 4 seconds, and they have their spirit resist reduced, they are going to be the most vulnerable you could possibly be in a team fight. This is such a good item. And this combos with your lasso. You could use it while you lasso someone, and you can effectively secure a kill with no threat to you at all. This is a great item. But I would buy these T3s only if you're going into a final fight and you can't afford the T4s, because I think Ethereal Shift and Diviner's Kevlar provide much more value, or a little bit more value than these T3s. And Ethereal Shift, obviously, you go into this void state. They can't kill you. It's a get out of jail free card. You come out of it. You're now Thanos because you have spirit resistance, spirit power, move speed, all that. It's incredibly useful. And it's on a 16-second cooldown. I mean, my God, this is an incredible item to buy late. Diviner's Kevlar is god tier on Holliday because it buffs your lasso like nothing else. The ability duration, the spirit, the barrier you get. So if you go in and lasso someone, you don't have to be afraid of getting exploded, because when you lasso someone, people look at you. It's like, it reminds me of like Yasuo in League of Legends, if you've played that. When I ulted someone, they're trying to instantly blow me up. And they look at Holliday and she's a frail, skinny DPS type of character, and they're going to look at you and want to kill you. But if you have Diviner's Kevlar, you basically catch them off guard and you say, nope, I'm not accepting this. Have fun eating my barrier for 1,000. Okay. And then you get more spirit power. So you follow up with a barrel and you absolutely nuke someone. So this is incredible as well. But it doesn't really matter what you choose for your final slot. Any of these will do well. It just depends on the situation. Finishing off, let me talk about the T3s before I get here. You can swap out something like Enchanter's Emblem. This doesn't need to be in your inventory this late. You can sell this and buy like Duration or Expansion. These are both incredible. And these buff your items as well. Like, this is not just for your abilities. These buff your items. Like, Duration is going to make the burn longer, and Escalating Exposure will be ticking longer, all that. Greater Expansion will buff your lasso, but it'll buff your powder keg, like your explosion size, but it'll also increase the radius of Mystic Reverb, and it's just incredible. So this is also an incredible item to buy. However, let's talk about Crippling Headshot quickly. I don't really think this is the greatest item. I don't like the gameplay of like having to focus on trying to Crippling Headshot someone in the late game. Before going in, or even while you're in. If you're missing your headshots, you kind of become neurotic about hitting headshots when you buy this item. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but I've played games with this where I'm like, okay, I gotta land the Crippling Headshot, and I'm standing there and I'm all nervous, I'm missing headshots, and I'm like, oh, they haven't been debuffed, so now I don't even want to go in because I'm like, they're not debuffed. I don't want to hit a non-debuff target, and then before you know it, your whole team's dying, and you're like, I did nothing. So that's my issue with this item, but the stats are incredible, and it also further sort of plays into my philosophy with this build, which is spirit resist is a major problem. Let's try to reduce it. So this helps us reduce resistances, cuts healing, even though we have 70% on this, so that's why it's not too valuable when we have spirit burn. But anyway, this is a really good item. I think it's the best weapon item you can get on Holiday, aside from maybe like, I don't know, Spellsinger is pretty good, Spiritual Overflow's okay. But yeah, I think Crippling Headshot's pretty much the best weapon item. So I gave you a weapon item option in T4, and if you're a better shot than me, then by all means buy this. But I'm just telling you my opinion. I don't usually buy this too often because I already have a means to reduce spirit resist, but that's why it's here. So yeah, that's the build in its entirety. I think I touched on every single item and why I have them in the build and when I use them. So let me know if you guys think this is a good build. Criticize it, glorify it, tell me how it goes in your games. If it goes well, please drop a comment and let me know. I'd love to hear your feedback. And this build will be live and public in the game, so you can download this or like it or whatever they call it, and you can try this out. And I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it. So yeah, that's my first Deadlock video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope this can benefit you guys in your games and help you improve your win rate, because it definitely did for me. So yeah, that's all. Take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching my video. Peace.